Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It's your girl, MF Michael Fletcher, alongside Anthony Florio. I'm going to change things up a little bit here tonight. So, I don't have any recap for TNA, so I'm just going to say screw it. We're not doing it. We're not going to cover it tonight. I'm just going to let it be and just let it burn on that one. So we got SmackDown Live. I may get into AAA. And then obviously Anthony will give us the results from earlier today's RWA Spectacle, a special benefit event for the Special Olympics that went down earlier this evening. So we will cover that here tonight. And as a matter of fact, we just got Michael Bullock into the fray. So welcome, Mike. We didn't even start anything. So we're going to start out with, like I said, SmackDown Live. And we started out with the first fight of the evening was the big one for the undisputed WWE Championship. The champion, Cody Rhodes, versus Gunther. Special guest referee is Sami Zayn. When it was all said and done, the winner of the bout in 11 minutes and 15 seconds. And still, the WWE champion was Cody Rhodes. And yeah, I mean, what is there to say? It kind of went a little bit of a breakdown, as you would say, in this matchup. But at the end of the day, Cody wins it because of the fact that Sami, that's counted. There's no doubt about it. Blaine is clear as day. That's count 1, 2, 3. Cody wins, and it basically imploded. Gunther was looking for a second fight. The fight gets thrown out. So it is what it is. But now we get the payoff at Clash of the Champions. It will be Cody Rhodes versus Gunther versus Sami Zayn. Triple threat for the WWE Championship. So, yeah, I mean, look, it's one of those narratives that if you're a Cody fan, you're like, our guy is still the champion. But if you really think about how the match played out, there was the narrative of, could this be where Cody loses the title? Could Sami screw him over? It felt like Sami was playing both sides of the fence. There was moments where he was siding with Gunther. There was moments where he sided with Cody. And then there was moments where he tried to stay down the middle. And the last real good guy, hook by crook, say what you want, but Gunther did put his hands on Sami, and Sami felt like, all right, if you're going to do that, then this is how it's going to end. And he fast counted Gunther out. 1, 2, 3. Now, knowing Anthony Florio, and boy, did he let us have it last night. Oh my God, did he let us have it as the heel commentator. He absolutely lit up on Sami Zayn, calling him an incompetent official. That was the worst referee job he's ever done in his entire life. He should be fined and should have been suspended for it. And this was Florio ripping. And, well, hey, it is what it is. There's really nothing more to add. This was a 3-star bout. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
And what was the time of the fall on that, MF?
11 minutes and 15 seconds.
Almost the same as Clash in Italy there. But you're absolutely right on the commentary. I did throw in one line to be very funny, and it actually got a little bit of a laugh out of you. When I said about Sami's refereeing there, I said that was the biggest amateur operation since Mayberry RFD. That's what I said, and MF let a little out on that. I remember, but anyways, all kidding aside,
and I would have been like, What the hell did you just say?
It's a Fresh Prince reference. I'll explain behind the scenes. But anyways, 3.25, mostly 3 because of the ending. Gunther's choice of Sami Zayn as the referee made things a little more interesting due to the friction he has with both men in this bout. He has beaten Gunther for an Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 40, and he wants to beat Cody for the big one eventually. So he did not come into this with any perceived bias. This match was more about the story than the wrestling. But Cody Rhodes and Gunther did a good job making it feel competitive. It was not as hard fought as their previous encounter, but it had its moments. Sammy, being the ref, made it obvious that some kind of shenanigans would take place, but how everything went down was not what we expected, and it definitely gives Gunther ammunition to demand another rematch after being screwed over again. All in all, this was not a bad match, but it's easy to see why this was the opener instead of the main event. WWE knew it was not going to be as good as their last match, so it tried to do something completely different. And having Sammy willingly shake Gunther's hand before the match was an interesting choice. And WWE said the match was going to be presented commercial free, but it lasted until about the same time most of the opening segments would, so it did not exactly feel like a big deal. The Cody Cutter from the top rope looked great, and the second match barely lasted a couple of minutes, but I know MF will probably get into that on the side. But yeah, 3 stars for this, and I'm not gonna steal any thunder here because I know there is something that came out of this. We'll address that at the appropriate time. So I'll just leave it as it is. So solid 3 stars. I would have given it 3.25, but the ending rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. And Michael Bullock, right on cue. As you know, and we talked about this during our Smackdown chat last night. I mean, we always say it. So that happened.
Yeah, and to be quite honest with you, Florio, Fletch he already pretty much gave it away. I mean, what the end result was because of all this. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, unfortunately, the match was what it was. I mean, I'll give it 3 stars, but you know what? I mean, they obviously wanted to get the ultimate payoff, which is what we eventually got, which is at Night of Champions will be Cody defending the title against Gunther against Sami Zayn. So, and I got to be quite honest with you guys. And Fletch, I want you to be in on this. I have never seen your general manager Nick Aldis as pissed as he was. I mean,
like Adam Pearce.
I mean, I'm like saying exactly. I mean, me and Flora, we were like saying, is that Nick Aldis or is that Adam Pearce? Because I have never seen Nick Aldis fuming. I mean, first off at Gunther, and then with Sami Zayn for the way he refereed that match. And I'm like, damn, Nick Aldis, tell us how you really feel. And I'll be quite honest with you guys, and I don't know how you're gonna feel about it. I think Gunther screwed himself over because remember when we were at SmackDown last night, who was the one who picked Sami Zayn as the guest referee for this match?
It was Gunther.
Yeah, so he kind of cost it himself. I mean, he basically like started all this by berating Sami Zayn, and I'm like saying to myself, "Hey, Gunther, reality check for you, boy. You were the one who decided to pick Sami Zayn as the special guest referee. So unfortunately, what you see is what you get. So, but we do get the triple threat at Night of Champions. So yeah, so 3 stars for me, but I'm gonna give it excuse me. I'm giving it 3 because of the clunky finish. So nothing more to say. Let's move on, Fletch.
To stem off what happened, they did actually restart the fight. And the second half of that match ended in 3 minutes and 20 seconds because Sammy hit the ring and Haluva kicked Gunther and went after Cody Rhodes. And that basically called the match out. And that's what got Aldis all livid. That's what got Nick Aldis red hot.
I've never seen him red hot like he was last night.
I've only seen him red hot like that when he was the national treasure, Nick Aldis.
But we never seen him like this in WWE during his time as SmackDown.
Oh no, he's always been mild mannered. He may get a little angry because I remember Chelsea Green used to drive him off the wall, but never like at this level. Yeah, and because he's a wrestling purist, he loves the professional wrestling business. He rather have it solved in the ring, not like that.
And that's
what happened last night.
He was pissed at Sami Zayn. He was like, that was basically terrible job of officiating. What the hell kind of officiating was that?
Yeah. So that's why a lot of people got really angry about the whole situation. But at the end of the day, you're getting what you're getting. But if you're... All right, I'm going to preface this. And this may offend a lot of people. And I don't give a damn. Do we really care about the WWE Championship right about now? Like, honestly, Sammy, Gunther, and Cody, does anybody give a damn who becomes WWE champion when this is all said and done?
Not really.
Like, honestly, truthfully.
I don't know how to feel because the thing is, the history of that championship is so prestigious, and of all the great names, I could name off a lot of names that have held that championship, and how I feel about this whole thing. I mean, I'm trying to show respect for the ones that came before these 3 who have previously held that championship. So,
but it feels
hold
like
on. I'm just gonna keep my. I'm just gonna be careful with what I choose.
No, and that's fine. But here's the thing: is it possible that they're waiting for Punk to come back? Maybe he may be the next guy to be the heavyweight champion. But think about it: with everything going on, with the way that the storyline is going, it almost feels like they're just waiting for Punk to come back, maybe for him to become the WWE champion. Because as far as the other thing goes, we'll get into it. I have my theories or my doubts, but anyway.
Well, I could see that happening, but I mean, and if Punk becomes champion, then I think we're talking something. Then I think we may have a different opinion about the WWE Championship. But if it's still Cody or either Gunther or Sami Zayn, then we can possibly say, do we even care about it right now?
Because I'm kind of having the same problem with the World Heavyweight Championship right now. You know,
and this is like when, and here's the thing. This is kind of like when Roman Reigns, when he had that long historic reign as the champion.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
So
we're stuck in a standstill, boys. Simple.
Yeah. But for the moment. For the moment.
Yeah, we're in a standstill right now, so Triple H needs to figure out something right now, because if it's still at a standstill, we could have a big time problem.
All right, so let's get into the next matchup. It was Damian Priest and R-Truth versus the MFTs, and it was Priest and Truth winning the match, successfully defending the titles in 10 minutes even. Anthony, it's yours.
Match played out as expected, but both teams got in a little offense. Solo showed up despite the request of his allies, and that ultimately led to their downfall. It all felt very copy and paste. Match itself was fine, but nobody will be putting it on a pedestal. R-Truth and Damian Priest are still over with the crowd, so having them retain the titles was the right call. If you're looking for things on the show you can skip to save time, this might be one of them. The most interesting thing happened after it was over when Tama and Tala turned their backs on Solo. And Tala rarely gets to speak, but we heard him during the backstage segment. And that's all there is to say. So solid 3 stars for the effort. So Michael Bullock, it looks like we've got a little bit of an implosion with the MFTs. It looks like Tama and Tala Tonga have had enough of Solo after Solo cost them the match last night. So solid 3. Michael Bullock, come on in and let's get your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm gonna say solid 3 as well. And this was definitely the right outcome. Yeah, and I think you're starting to see the implosion of the MFTs because Tama Tonga and Tala Tonga basically they told Solo Sikoa to stay in the back and not to get involved. And what does Solo Sikoa do? He comes out anyway and literally cost them the championship. I mean, when is Solo going to get it through his thick skull? I mean, to basically do what his teammates say, because that could be, as Vince McMahon once said, the straw that broke the camel's back. So we'll see how it plays out, but by what Solo did, it could cause. I mean, it could drive Tama and Tala to the point that, all right, we tell you to do this and you do the exact opposite. When are you gonna stop with this nonsense? So it's yours, Fletch. I mean, Solo. I mean, right now he's got his teammates all pissed off, and for every right reason, because they basically told him stay in the back. And what does Solo do? He comes out anyway because Solo basically is like, hey, I dance to the beat of my own drum.
Yep. And that ended up being the downfall for him, no doubt about it. All right. So 3 stars, absolutely correct. Right rating, and you guys pretty much touched on it. So we're gonna move right on along. Next up we had was Ricky Saints going 1-on-1 with Carmelo Hayes. This was the #1 contenders match, and the winner gets a shot at the Night of Champions against the U.S. champion himself, Trick Williams, winner of the bout. In 14 minutes even, it was Ricky Saints. Michael Bullock, Ricky Saints is now the #1 contender. He gets a title shot against Trick Williams.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this about maybe 3 1/4, 3.5. I mean, this was a fun match, and yeah, this was definitely a big win so far for Ricky Saints, and since joining the main roster, and could it lead to an even bigger win come Night of Champions when he faces off against Trick Williams for that United States Championship. So I'm going to say the early call right now, and this is just an early call. I don't see Ricky Saints winning that championship. I think they're going to want to keep it on Trick Williams a little longer. So nothing more for me to say. It's yours, Fletch.
I think eventually we're going to get a triple threat. I really think we're going to get a triple threat between Trick, Ricky, and Carmelo for the title. I think that could happen at SummerSlam. Yeah, I think I could see this being an overbook where Trick successfully defends, and then we can go from there. This was another 3 1/4, 3.5. This was a solid matchup. Nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Not only was this match for a shot at the United States Heavyweight Championship, but it was also the rubber match between these two since they each had a previous victory in their feud. Ricky Saints and Carmelo Hayes immediately turned this into a fast-paced bout, which was a nice change from the two matches that came before it on this show. In fact, it was almost shocking how much more entertaining this match was than what came before it. Melo and Saints are both talented performers, and WWE seems to have found a great combination with them. Saints got the win, but he did it by using the exposed turnbuckle, which protected Melo in defeat. It was not an ideal ending, but it fit with the heel character Ricky Saints has been playing. This is the kind of match WWE needs to put on more often. It was exciting, showcased two talents who deserved the spotlight, and it gave us a somewhat surprising ending. So, not much more to say. Well, actually, I do have a couple things here. The way Melo went for his springboard leg drop made it very clear he knew he was not going to hit it. And the springboard no look DDT from Melo was awesome. Tricky move, but when he hits it, it looks incredible. So I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars for the effort here. Best match. It was the fight of the night up to that point, and Ricky Saints moves on to Saudi Arabia. Triple threat maybe at SummerSlam. I could see it. But let's not forget they have another big show before, just a couple weeks before that. Let's not forget next month we have a Saturday night's main event from the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. So we got that to think about, and they need matches for that. So could happen there. You never know. But 3.5 on this one for now. So we'll see what happens next Saturday, next week, as part of Night of Champions, which we'll preview on our next show next week, next Friday. So 3.5, MF. Let's move on.
All right, here we go. King of the Ring, semifinal match. The winner goes up against Oba Femi in Saudi Arabia. It was Jey Uso versus Javon Evans. Winner of the bout, 17 minutes, 55 seconds. Jey Uso is going to the finals of the King of the Ring. He will be facing off with Oba Femi. Yeah. Unbelievable matchup. You could even say this was probably the fight that at this point was the fight of the night. An incredible main event. Great matchup to say the very least. Easily 4 to 4.25 stars. And Anthony, the winner. And the winner is Jey Uso. He's going to fight for the King of the Ring, but man, does he have an uphill climb to go one-on-one with the man himself. He's going up against Oba Femi in the final.
Yeet. Yeet on that, MF. He's going against the ruler. Yeah, well, I'm thinking, I mean, that is a very tough one to call. We'll have to wait and see on that. Thankfully, we have until next week to think about it. But to say this was a physical match would be an understatement. It might just be the most competitive match Jey Uso has had in all of 2026, in all honesty. Both men looked great and worked well together to put on a fun show for the fans in attendance and watching at home. They were given plenty of time and they used it wisely. Javon Evans was the standout for his physicality, but Jey Uso looked better than he has in quite some time. Having him pick the young OG up and raise his hand after the match was a nice way to end this competitive semifinal King of the Ring match. A lot of people have been critical of Jay's recent performances, and for those of you who have been critical of his recent performances, take some time to check this match out. He looked like he had a renewed focus, and Javon Evans made a fantastic dance partner. And Javon Evans has one of the better drop kicks in WWE today. He makes it look so easy to jump that high. And the fall that Javon took from the top rope into the barricade looked awesome. So, yeah, I'm with you. 4 to 4.25 stars. You can make an argument for Fight of the Night honors here. Although there's another match that was just as great as this, but we'll see how that goes. So 4 to 4.25 stars for this, and we have ourselves one hell of a final here. Jey Uso, Oba Femi. It's very simple, guys. When it comes to the outcomes, Oba wins, there's no doubt Oba will be going after Roman. I believe it'll be Oba and Roman for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam if Oba should get it. Jay gets it, there's no doubt it's going to be Jey Uso and very likely Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. They've been teasing it, so 4 to 4.25. You can make an argument for Fight of the Night on it, so not much more. Michael Bullock, our guy, main event Jey Uso, he is now in the finals, but boy, oh boy, does he have an uphill battle, and if he wants that shot at Cody, he's got a massive roadblock in front of him, known as the Ruler. Yeet.
Yeet indeed. I mean, yeah, he may have won the match, but by golly, he's got a tough road ahead with the Ruler Obafemi on next Saturday. And yeah, I mean, this was definitely the fight of the night. 4 to 4.25. And yeah, I mean, there are people who have been critical of Jey Uso's performances, but to those people who have been critical, go back and watch last night's match between these two, and you tell me. I mean, because I thought Jey Uso looked amazing, but look at who he was in there with. He was with the young OG. So yeah, nice. I mean, yeah, good news, Jey Uso. You're on to the finals, but the bad news, you got to deal with the Ruler. So we'll see what happens with that when we preview it. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, and then we go into the final match of the evening as it was. Let me see. Do we got any cleaning house that we need to do? I'm trying to see if there's anything here. Nope, it ends up being the main event. Charlotte Flair going one-on-one with Liv Morgan. And when it was all said and done, Liv Morgan wins the match in 18 minutes and 25 seconds. She is going to the finals. She will be facing off with Io Sky. And now we have ourselves a very interesting situation, because if Liv wins this match, not only does she she won't have to defend her women's championship, we may have a title for title situation, because then she may want to go after Rhea Ripley, but Rhea's title is now up in the air, because as many of you know, Rhea's hurt, so we don't know her status. Anthony, we got a mess if Liv wins the Queen of the Ring. If Io wins, she gets another crack at Liv, because this time it would be for the women's title, because brand exclusive. But if Liv wins this, I don't know what WWE does, because we got a mess.
A big one. A big mess indeed. And all right. Before the match got started, the Queen was attacked backstage by Jade Cargill, B-Fab, and Michin. The entire story of this bout revolved around her injured leg. Charlotte was made to look like a valiant but short-sighted competitor by continuing to compete despite the injury. Having Nick Aldis, Alexa Bliss, and the medical team try to talk her out of it, continuing more than once, added to the drama, and the Queen did a great job selling the emotion of what was going on. Unfortunately for her, Liv Morgan prevailed by making her tap out to advance to the Queen of the Ring finals. They put on a decent match, but it was hindered a little by the story they were trying to tell. Limiting what one of your most athletic competitors can do by having her sell an injury is always a gamble. They did a good job with it, but the match as a whole became predictable as a result. The mics were not turned on. Did you notice that the mics were not turned on for the backstage segment? So most of what Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair said was inaudible. Liv Morgan's powerbomb from the corner looked brutal, and having Charlotte lose by submission was a surprise. She has not tapped out many times in her WWE career, so this felt rare. And I do want to say this. You guys know, you two guys know, that nobody is a bigger Charlotte Flair fan than me. You guys know how much how much I have loved Charlotte since day one, right?
Oh, I know that.
Last night, the effort that beautiful angel put in last night, let me tell you, I already loved her before, but my love, respect, appreciation, and admiration for Charlotte Flair went up tenfold.
Yeah.
Despite, I mean, and
Yeah,
also,
and also she didn't want Liv Morgan to literally be handed the spot in the final.
she did not want Liv to win by way of a forfeit, a la Sensational Queen Sherry and Sapphire from SummerSlam 90. We all remember that. And,
although Liv Morgan would have loved it.
She probably would have done that countdown even scarier than Sherry did 36 years ago at that SummerSlam. But
yeah, she would have made it would have been even more scary. It would have made what Sensational Sherry did look like child's play.
And then she would have thrown in the laugh for flavor content.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the point I was trying to make was, I know over the years Charlotte has garnered a lot of haters. A lot of people have been very critical of Charlotte always getting opportunity after opportunity, and I can understand that. I get where they're coming from, but I'm sure even those haters, whether you like Charlotte or you don't, you cannot help but respect Charlotte after that incredible effort that she put in last night, despite getting brutally attacked by Jay Cargill and the baddies in the gorilla position. And man, that gorilla position, let me tell you, oh my goodness, it saw a lot of action last night, let me tell you.
Yeah, the poor gorilla position kind of got a workout last night, more than usual.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even have any gorilla position stuff when we were there last week. But anyways, Charlotte just incredible effort. I mean, like I said, whether you like her or you don't, you cannot help but respect her after that effort. I mean, a normal person, an average person would have given up. Not Charlotte. Charlotte wanted to make Liv earn it. She made Liv earn it, and Liv did indeed do just that. And why Liv, the one thing I'm critical of is Liv Morgan being in this, despite the fact that she's the women's world champion. The king and the queen of the ring, the concept of it is for whoever wins it would get an opportunity at either world championship in the SummerSlam, as we all know. I still don't understand why Liv Morgan, despite being the women's world champion, is in this tournament to begin with.
Because she wants to be Liv 2 belts.
Of course, I can certainly understand that. But in the overall aspect of it, in the grand scheme of things, it makes no sense. You have other women there.
Why don't you tell that to Liv Morgan, and she probably would let out a proverbial scream like, "Okay."
Yes, I know what
Liv
Morgan would
do. Do you really want to deal with that, Florio?
If it means I'm getting my point across, I'm good. I don't mind.
Well, as the old saying goes, Florio, careful what you ask for.
Careful what I wish for. I know.
Because you just might get it.
Because I might just get it.
Yes,
indeed.
your eardrums may be sore in the morning.
Yeah, they'll probably be bleeding too. But anyways.
But yeah, professionally, I mean I'm with you. It makes zero sense.
It does. It absolutely does, man. I mean,
And the other thing too, Florio, and I want to make a point too. She hasn't defended the women's world title since she won it at WrestleMania.
It's the same thing they did with Jade Cargill.
I mean, and I'll go on the record of saying this,
2
and
months.
I don't care if I get criticized for it. Her run as women's world champion this time around is a complete and utter flop. I'm sorry.
A lot of it is because of Stephanie getting injured.
I get that. I get it, but
But MF's got
other
to
people
mediate here. So
yeah. Unless Fletch wants to chip in on this.
I was gonna say it's also a creative mess up because of the fact, like you even said it.
You got it.
And I kind of feel like they're dangling the carrot of multiple challengers, but it just feels like WWE doesn't want to pull the trigger. I think they're set on it being Stephanie to be the top challenger for Liv, but we can't wait for her. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Where you got Raquel, and I know a lot of people is going to roll their eyes on Raquel, but screw you. She deserves a shot. Roxanne Perez, and I know people are going to roll their eyes on that too. Don't give a shit. Yes, you can say Stephanie Booker, but those are the three. And Io if she wins. And I think everybody would say, if Io wins it all, then let Io take the belt. Let Io become the champion, because Io is by
the best
far
women's wrestler in WWE today.
She is the best wrestler.
And
she is the best.
And more deserving.
I don't...
Especially after being left off of WrestleMania.
Okay.
Especially after being left off.
I in one sense, I disagree with that, Bullock, but I know where you're coming from. Because I think if you're talking about best wrestler, I still got to say it's Stephanie Booker. I think she's still better than Io. I'm sorry.
They're both right up there. They're
both right up there, but I would put Stephanie over Io.
Fair enough.
I would say 1A and 1B.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go on, MF.
But that's the only argument. No, that's it. That would have been the end of the show at that point. There's really nothing else to cover. We would be diving into the overall review.
For the match.
Huh?
4 to 4 1/4 is my rating for the match.
Okay. So
actually, let me make that 3.5 to 4. 3.5 to 4.
Right.
Mainly because of the injury stuff. So.
And I'll give it 3.5 to 4 as well.
All right. So now let's get into the overall. With Anthony, you would have started anyway.
Fair enough. All right. Last night's SmackDown felt like it addressed a lot of ongoing storylines, which was good, but we ended up getting less in-ring action. If you only have 5 matches on a 3-hour show, you're not using your time efficiently, even if a couple of those matches are on the longer side. Too many backstage segments and promos took the place of what could have been a 6th match in the middle of the show. Jey Uso and Javon Evans did a good job in their King of the Ring semifinal, and so did Liv Morgan and Charlotte Flair. But Ricky Hayes and Carmelo Hayes and Ricky Saints stole the show with their match. Much like Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov, WWE seems to have found another great combination that never fails to deliver a great performance. After Ricky Saints is done with Trick Williams, it would not be shocking to see Melo come after him again. I'm going to give this in excess of maybe 7.5, teetering on 8 out of 10. I think that's the correct rating for it. So, not as good as last week's show in Providence was. I mean, we had one of the best SmackDowns, if not the best SmackDown of 2026 when we had it last week. But it was still a fine show, but I thought our show was just a smidgen better. So, not to say that this was a bad show either. So 7.5, most solid 7.5 out of 10 for me. So Not much more. Michael Bullock, your overall thoughts on SmackDown in Kansas City last night?
Yeah, 7.5 for me as well. I mean, it was still good, but not as good as when it was here in Providence last week. So that's not to say that this show sucked, but it was good, but not as good as last week's show. So nothing more to say. It's your Sledge.
All right, and I'll go 7.5. I totally agree with everything you guys have said. I thought it was a good, not great, but still solid for what it was worth. All right, so with that said, let's shift gears. Anthony Floyo, Michael Bullock, front and center, gentlemen, because today RWA did a very special show. This has become, I think it's like third annual,
Fourth.
but it's become one of their premier events. You could even call it an unofficial major for RWA. It's Spectacle, the event to sponsor the Rhode Island Special Olympics. And Anthony Floyo, give us the rundown. What the heck happened on that show today?
All right, MF. First things first. Let's address the details here. The fourth annual RWA Spectacle live from the Johnston Recreation Center in Johnston. And first things first, that place was packed. That was one of the biggest crowd, if not the biggest crowd that we've been a part of since we started going to RWA shows in 2023. I mean, that place was damn near SRO, honestly. It was that loaded. So the usual suspects were there. Danger Boy Alfredo, Wolverine, they were there. And we had a moment with them before the show, which was awesome. And it was myself, Michael Bullock, and our dear friend Brian Keenan. We took it all in this evening. And without any further ado, let's start it off. First match was a tag team match, playa. We had Danny Cabral and AZ squaring off against Jay Evans and Logan Machina. And it was Jay Evans and Logan Machina going on to win the match. Originally, our next match was scheduled to be a non-title match. We had the RWA Ocean State champion, Coach Will, squaring off against the showman, Nick Marchand. And Nick Marchand took the mic before the match, and he, basically goaded Coach Will into putting the title on the line, which he did. It went from a non-title match to a title match. And here's the thing. It brought out Alfredo, Danger Boy Alfredo, because he is the commissioner of the RWA. And one of the Special Olympic athletes was actually given a special honor this evening, a special assignment. Keith, our buddy Keith, Special Olympian.
Yeah, Keith Wilcox is his name.
Okay. He was given the honor of being Alfredo's assistant commissioner. And they made the match official. So it was Coach Will defending the RWA Ocean State Championship against Nick Marchand. Nick Marchand wins the match, but he actually won it via disqualification because of outside interference from a couple of friends of Michael Bullock's, the Icebreakers. Bullock, you know these guys very well. And they got involved in the match. There was a ref bump.
Yeah, their names are Kyle and Hank Falella. I mean, they're part of the Icebreakers team that they're the ones that help raise money for their annual Penguin Plunge that's in January, which they are part of.
Yeah, and the referee ended up taking a ref bump during the match, and they came out, but the referee caught them interfering. He called for the bell, and unfortunately, Coach Will gets disqualified but Nick Marchand wins the match via DQ. But as we all know, in any wrestling promotion, Nick Marchand does win the match, but because he won it by disqualification,
He
Coach
doesn't
Will,
win the championship.
yes, Coach Will is still the RWA Ocean State champion. And a very cool moment that I got to bring up since we're talking about Coach Will here. During the intermission, where everybody was out getting their groceries, MF. Yep. And I actually did say that in honor of you. But yeah, during near the tail end of that intermission, Coach Will came by our area, and Brian actually had a small little chat with him. And oh, by the way, Coach Will, for a brief moment, let Brian Keenan hold his RWA Ocean State championship. How about that? Brian Keenan held the RWA Ocean State championship for a brief moment. A missed photo opportunity. I mean, if I had been quick on my feet, I could have gotten a photo of that. But yeah, a very cool moment indeed. But moving on, tag team action. Now it was supposed to be a 6-man tag, but the insane Dick Lane was not at the show. Not sure what happened to him, but we had Camo Country, Gunnar Moody, and of course one of our favorites, MF Cletus. They went up against Tom Billington and Jeremy Lacroix. And yeah, Jeremy Lacroix still feeling the effects from WrestleProm, MF. Yeah. He actually did put in a little more of an effort, but Tom Billington pulled the Rick Martel from WrestleMania 5, if you know what I mean. Tom Billington walked out on him. So I think we all know who wins here. Camo Country wins the match. Tom Billington walking out on Jeremy Lacroix. And yeah, so Gunnar and Cletus pick up the win there. A fatal 4-way match in the women's division. We had, tell me if you know these names, MF. Well, you do know, I think you know a couple of these names, but these other two I think might be new. Amara Void.
Amara's new.
Selena Hellcat, the Hellcat.
She's also new. Never heard of her.
But you do know these other two. Roxanne Fury.
Yup.
And Asana.
Yes.
Yep. Selena, the Hellcat. Selena Hellcat wins the match. Now, she had this dude with her. I don't know who this guy was, because he's probably new too. He had his arm in a sling, but that did not stop him from pulling the Bobby Heenan from WrestleMania 5. You know what that was. Pulled the leg out. I think it was Roxanne who ate the pin. Or was it Asana? It was one of those two. But Selena fell on top. Her manager, her advisor, or whoever this guy was, he pulled the leg out, held the leg, and that was enough for Selena to pick up the win in that 4-way women's match. Originally, the Rugged, they were supposed to face another team on this show, but the same two guys from opening the night, from the opening match, Danny Cabral and AZ, they were fuming after losing that first match. They wanted another match, and they pulled the old card subject to change stuff. So, sure enough, the Rugged agreed to face them, and it was the Rugged defeating Danny Cabral and AZ. So they lost twice in one night.
Oof.
Yeah, that's what you get for running your mouths there, boys. And then we had a promo segment. The Ace, Mike Montero, MF. He cuts a promo, and he's already announced it. At the next event, which is the big one, Legacy, on Saturday night, August the 8th, at the St. Anthony's Parish Center in Pawtucket, where the WrestleProm was, he's issuing an open challenge to anybody. So that's basically what Mike Montero's promo was. Next, and then now we get into the three big ones here. RWA World Tag Team Championship on the line. The champions, the unit, AJP and JT Dunn, defending the titles against the team known as Guapo Suave. And the winners of the match and new RWA World Tag Team Champions, Guapo Suave. Yes, the history was made, but there was nothing unprecedented about the crowning. Not an unprecedented crowning. It was almost a carbon copy of the women's ending. But it was what happened after the match that was the big talking point. AJP cuts a heartfelt promo after the match was over, and he and JT Dunn, they had a moment. They embraced for a moment, and then JT low blows him. JT Dunn turning his back on AJP, and he went off. He was scathing, and Bullet couldn't believe it, and JT Dunn made the official. He has officially challenged AJP to a match at Legacy. So it's most certainly going to be JT Dunn and AJP at Legacy. Shocking heel turn, to say the very least. All right, MF. This was the match that we were all waiting for. The personal grudge match. Cipriano Abruzzi squaring off against the owner of the RWA, T Phoenix. Special guest referee, the Mighty Bosch. And Mighty Bosch, I'm going to tell you, Mighty Bosch came out in the old school referee attire from the 80s and early 90s. The blue shirt and the bow tie. Remember the old referee attire?
Mm-hmm.
Mighty Bosch wore that. He had the old school wrestling attire, the long sleeve shirt. And yeah, Allison, T Phoenix's wife, was in his corner. And there was a point during the match where Cipriano Abruzzi, it looked like he was going to get Allison again, but Mighty Bosch was not having it. Cipriano Abruzzi was ready to literally punch her in the mouth, but as he was lining up to go for the punch, there was Bosch to intercept him. And that opened the door for T Phoenix. T Phoenix does go on to win the match. Allison got her payback on Cipriano Abruzzi. The winner of the match is T Phoenix, and T gets his payback from WrestleProm. And he and his wife had a nice moment in the ring after the match was over. And good for him. Well, great. A little shorter than I expected, but it was still a fun match and great win for T. And then the main event of the evening, the tag team known as Scam Likely. I don't know who the other guy was, but the other half of the team was the RWA World Heavyweight Champion Patrick Saint. And they squared off against the Right Stuff, Stephen Lust, and the Mind Eraser, Mike Grassa, with his lady by his side, of course. And the winners of the match, the Mind Eraser, Mike Grassa, and Stephen Lust. I'll tell you right now, Patrick Saint did not eat the pinfall. His partner did. So no big surprise because they obviously want to protect the champ. So I think we might have an idea of what the main event of Legacy is going to be. Patrick Saint defending the RWA Heavyweight Championship against the Mind Eraser, Mike Grassa. Former champion. Am I correct on that?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Former multi-time champion.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that ends up being the main event of Legacy. So there you have it. That's what went down tonight as part of RWA Spectacle in Johnston. Amazing show. I mean, they put on a great show, and we all had the time of our lives. We all did. Don't get us wrong, but I think out of the three of us, I think Brian Keenan had the most fun tonight, and he was very excited. And you and one other thing, when they do that, when they do that raffle, we know the raffles, right?
Yeah.
Bob Whitney, the ring announcer, called over Michael Bullock, and Michael Bullock actually got to roll the tumbler for the raffle. So yeah, so Bullock had a little moment there. So all in all, fantastic night. So Yeah, the next show is August 8th. The big one, Legacy 19 from the St. Anthony's Parish Center in Pawtucket. And the next 3 shows are going to be in Pawtucket. September 12th, we got RWA Encore, also in Pawtucket. And on Saturday, October 17th, it will be Devil's Night. And then they'll be back in Johnston in November 21 for Thanksgiving Throwdown. That's a show I'm hopeful we can go to. So we'll try to get to a show down the line here and there. Next month, the next one, we'll talk about it behind the scenes. But all in all, fantastic night. MF, anything stand out from all the results I shared?
I mean, no, because I think everything was all kind of, what we expected the show to go, and I thought they did a really good job. So no, props to RWA as always. They've always killed it every time. So
Yep.
One of the best wrestling in New England, no doubt about it.
Here.
Whenever there's a show, go out of your way to get the tickets, guys. So yeah, and we're always glad that we can show the love to RWA and everything else. So nothing more to say. So yeah, excellent job as always, Anthony.
Thank you,
well
sir.
done.
And yeah, it was a fun night. Not the same without you, but
Mm.
we'll get there again soon enough. We'll talk about it behind the scenes, like I said.
Yeah, we'll get into it. All right, guys. So you know what? I'm gonna do something really different. I'm gonna give you a quick little World Cup recap. Because I know you guys. I missed out on last night. I had commitments beyond my control, so I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you all the coverage up to the minute. The first matchup yesterday, USA versus Australia. This was the big one. USA winning the game 2-0. They have advanced to the round of 32, the knockout stages. It was simple. USA getting an own goal on the 11th minute, thanks to Burgess. And then Freeman getting the goal in the 43rd minute. That was the second goal for the United States. This one was the controversy one. It went up into the air. Freeman used the header, goes in the back of the net. Initially, referee called offside. VAR, video assistant referee, comes into play and says, no, he actually was onside. That's a goal. And Seattle lost their minds. They went sleepless in Seattle. They went beast mode. They even registered an earthquake, for God's sakes. We got a World Cup earthquake in Seattle yesterday because of that. So 2-0 USA. Qualified for the knockout stages. They are the second team to go through. Mexico got through on Thursday. USA got on Friday. Second game of the day from Boston. Scotland versus Morocco. Morocco winning the game 1-0. My heart breaks for the Scots because, man, they've been so good to us, giving us so much joy and love. We wanted to give them the win. We were hoping, we were pulling for them, and Morocco wins the game. Yay. That's not, hey, it is what it is. Scotland is now going to Miami for the third game. Yo, I hope Miami, I hope you know what you're bargaining for with the Scots. And bring all the liquor. Do not get drunk out because they basically drunk us out in Rhode Island and in Boston. Boston and Providence ran out of liquor because of the Scots, man. The Scots, they know how to party. They know their beer. No Scotland, no party. I'm telling you, it is for real. I don't know if the Scottish is ready for Miami, though. Scotland people in South Beach? Ooh, that could be it. That could be a culture shock even for them. I don't know if they're ready for that. So we'll see. Third game of the third game of the day was Brazil versus Haiti. Boys, Brazil is back. 3-0 winners over Haiti. Haiti has officially been eliminated from the World Cup. Brazil, it was Acuna, getting 2 goals, 23rd and 36th and the 36th minute. And then Vinicius Jr. getting the 3rd goal. Got the trifecta. And that was in the 45 plus 4. And it was easy. They were in Philly, and it was all Brazil. And then the last game of the day was Turkey A versus Paraguay. Paraguay wins the game by the final score of 1-0. 2 bits of news on this one. First, the goal happened in the 2nd minute. 1 minute and 4 seconds into the game, it was 1-0 Paraguay. They held on to win it. They lost a player, red card for basically this is one of those controversial moves, controversial calls. Basically, a player covering his mouth, covering it. I guess they don't know what was said or what, but because this is a new rule in FIFA where, because of what happened during the UEFA Champions League, but supposedly a player said some racist comments to Vinicius Jr. while he was covering his mouth with the jersey, and he said it quietly so nobody can hear that. FIFA came out with this rule that if you cover your mouth at any point, either with the jersey or with the hand, it's an automatic red card and you're out of the game. That's what happened there. Automatic red, tossed out. So basically,
and suspended for 2 games.
It's suspended for 2 games because it's a straight red. Yes. It is a straight red. That means he's suspended for multiple games as well. Yes, Michael Bullock, you are correct. And because of that, they were down to 10 men, but they were able to win it. Paraguay still walked away with the 1-0 win. And because of that, the United States has won Group D. They have won the group first time since 2010. The United States have won the group. They won their group stages. That's actually good because now that means that they might have somewhat of an easier opponent going into the round of 32. Now, right now, the possible opponent is Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's possibly the matchup we're hearing. But again, we got to go through the Group 3 stages. But the top 8 third-place teams get to play. The higher the rank is, and right now, the USA, I believe, because of goal differential, it's the 2nd best team. Germany is number 1. USA is 2. And Mexico is 3. So the 2nd worst team from that group of 8 of the 3rd place would play the United States on July 1 in San Francisco. That's the game that's been confirmed. It will be July 1st. It will be in San Francisco. We just don't know who's going up against the United States just yet. We don't know who their opponent is going to be. And then as far as today's coverage goes, started out with the Netherlands versus Sweden. The Netherlands 5-1 over Sweden. It was a bludgeoning, a bloodbath, as we would say, or in the immortal words of Kaiser Butler, it was a holiday ham. And yes, for the Netherlands, it was to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, and then dance like a bunch of fools, and then dance like a bunch of hooligans, because that's what it was. It was a stomping 4-way around 5-1 winners. Goals in the first, a goal in the 5th minute, in the 17th minute. It was a brace for Brawley. Then Gecko getting 49th and 54th. That's a brace for him. And then Somerville, who's their best player, he gets the 5th goal. The lone goal for Sweden was scored in the 59th minute, but again, 5-1 was the final score. Then it was Germany versus Cote d'Ivoire. Germany came back from 1-0 down, getting a late goal at the end, 90 plus 5 to win the game, 2-1. Germany initially scored a goal, but got taken off the board because VAR came up and said he was offside. And then Cote d'Ivoire getting the goal. That gave them the 1-0 lead. Then Germany tied it. Youssef getting it at the 68th minute. And then Youssef getting the brace at the end, 90 plus 5, giving Germany the win and the qualification into the knockout stages. So they win it. And then the final game up to this point, Ecuador versus Curacao, game then in the 0-0 draw. There's nothing more to say on that game. Sorry, guys. If you're looking for any highlights, you're not going to find it here. The one game that is about to go down in just a matter of minutes, this game is being played in Monterrey, Mexico. It is going to be Japan versus Tunisia. That game goes down in 5 minutes. And then I will cover that game tomorrow with the others. It'll be Spain and Saudi Arabia at 12 o'clock. Then we got Belgium versus Iran at 3 o'clock. At 6 o'clock tomorrow, Uruguay and Cape Verde or Cabo Verde. And then at 9 o'clock, the final game of the day, it is New Zealand versus Egypt. So that is it. That's it. We're done. We're out of here on Tuesday night. It's Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. You guys already know what happens. It'll be Monday Night Raw. It will be NXT. And then I don't know what we're going to do Thursday. I don't know what the show's going to look like. I don't know what we got in mind. But if we do a show, we'll cover it. But 1 week from tonight, or 1 week from Friday, another edition of Cerebral Smack Talk. We got Smackdown. We may do TNA. And then obviously our preview of Night of Champions. So check your local listing. We'll figure out when we're going to do the Night of Champions as well. And guys, keep your eyes peeled throughout the week. I'll have more World Cup coverage for you all. So until then, for Anthony Foyer, for Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher, saying so long, everybody, and we'll see you all on Tuesday.